What is good, guys? M.V.K here, back again for another comic review. Guys, today we're traveling on the side of the tracks of DC, and we're gonna review a DC Black Label book written by Chris Cantwell and Alex Lynn, Jacob Edgard, and Marcelo Mileo. I hope I'm saying the name right. What are we talking about? We're going to be talking about Plastic Man No More. This is, like I said, Christopher Cantwell is doing this book, and it is a Black Label, and it is this is going to be a little bit I say tragic in the end. But I'm gonna try to sum this up as best I can. So what is Plastic Man No More about? Well, the title says it all. Plastic Man No More, because Plast is he's falling apart. And what I like about this is also they tell it from two stories. They tell, when they're doing like past stories, they have a different art style, and the modern stuff they have a current art style. So in this book, basically, the Justice League was going against, who was that character? I think I can't remember who it was. It's 20 years later. Who is this? Solaris. 20 years ago. So we do get we get the backstory again of Plastic Man. What he was. Remember, he was not always a good guy, a hero. He was a bad guy. He was I wouldn't say bad guy. He was a thief, and if he fell into a bag of chemicals that changes molecules and he can stretch and things like that. I've always loved Plastic Man. I love, in terms of elongated, shape-shifting characters, Plastic Man, I loved him more than I like Elongated Man. Just put that out there. But 20 years after he got his powers, we saw the Justice League is fighting a character named Solaris, and Solaris shoots Plastic Man, tries to shoot the Justice League with this solar array, and Plastic Man blocks it. Now, usually Plastic Man is by far one of the most nearly indestructible characters, even on Superman's type level, and they played that up a lot in like various books. Like even Superman's scared of this guy. And okay, unfortunately, what happens is that Plastic Man is not doing well, and throughout this book, you start to see what the Justice League really think about Plastic Man. And it really paints them bad in this book. It really does, because when Plastic Man is trying to tell them, hey, I'm not doing so good, they're just laughing, and they're just like, oh, Plastic Man, you're so funny. Like, even Batman is like, you just see Batman trying to hide his laughter. Like, this guy makes me laugh. And it's very sad. You're like, it really paints them bad. You're like, while you're reading this, you're like, motherfuckers, yo, he's in your teammate is not doing so well. You can actually see, like, he tried to get some rest. He came and he thought, okay, I'll recover through my rest. His arm now, he has to put a sack around his arm just because it just became like liquid. He almost became like liquid putty. And the only person that really is backing him up to a degree that is like, okay, I'm gonna look into it, is Detective Chimp. Yes, Detective Chimp is in this, and Detective Chimp says, he can understand it too. He's like, yeah, sometimes they don't even pay attention to me, like, and then I have to do my job myself. In the meantime, with that, while Plastic Man is falling, he's starting to go see a psychiatrist and tell him, like, she starts to tell him, like, look, you're gonna fall apart. Whatever that ray was, it messed up your system so badly. You're coming apart. You're falling apart, and you got to tell somebody. And we see throughout once again, going back in time, back and forth time, you're seeing like Plastic Man when he met his wife, and he had a child, and you're starting to see over time like what's happening. We even get it to the point where you could kind of see like working with the Justice League, but never having enough time for his family has paid a big price for Plastic Man in this, in terms of his wife, and well, I should say his ex-wife, and his estranged son, who is, I believe, who is with the Titans in this. And when he does go to see them and tell them what's going on, they don't want to hear it. You know, but he's like, look, I have to tell you something. I'm dying. And it's almost to the point, his son is like, fuck, like almost like, fuck, like, why you got to tell me this? You know, and I'm not going to tell mom. And it just gets really, you really feel bad for Plastic Man in this. And then this to the point where that so-called person that wanted to help, she's like, well, there may be a way, but it's going to take the combined help of the Metal Men, but not them, a different Metal Man, one of their evil brothers. And so Plastic Man does go to the Metal Men and like we want to bring in, I forget which Metal Man they wanted to bring in, but he's like the evil one. And it turns out there's a lot of backstabbing going in his body. Don't want to ruin it for everybody if you ever want to check this out. But again, you're seeing through this book, Plastic Man, how the Justice League sees him, and you feel bad, and you're like, you want to scream or slap Superman in the head or slap Wonder Woman, like, you idiots, he needs your help, you know. But it just becomes, and then of course the doctor even says, well, the process that made you, it may be, then it gets to emotional points where that same doctor who did the test on Plastic Man, she starts saying, well, maybe this could happen to your son later in life too, because remember, his son has powers, and I believe that's Tim. I believe it's Tim. I could be wrong, but I think it's Tim who is Robin in this. And you know, he kind of doesn't trust Plastic Man too much, because he kind of knows what it's like to deal with a kind of like a father figure that kind of is not really around or something. It's really messed up. You really feel bad for Plastic Man in this, and there's some things he does in this that you're just like, oh, why'd you do that? Like, oh, come on. And then of course, you know, Detective Chimp plays a big factor in this, and you got all these characters that are just playing dividends to what's going to happen. And it's even to the point, without spoiling, like something does bad happen, and over time you see that the lack of awareness for the Justice League when one of their own is in trouble is just heart-wrenching. You're like, and there's even a point where Plastic Man even I forget that Plastic Man, his son even says, if Superman was in trouble, you guys be running to his aid to help him. Why didn't you help my father? Like it becomes, and it's just like they gotta really, it paints a big picture of the Justice League, and you're like, you bastards. Like, this book ends tragically. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. It does end tragically for our titular character. I felt bad, and because I love Plastic Man, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't have happened. And the Justice League should have, because while I'm reading this book, I'm really like, fuck you, Justice League. I'm actually cursing at them. I'm like, fuck you, Wonder Woman. Fuck you, Superman. Fuck you, Batman. Fuck you, Green Lantern. Fuck you, Flash. Fuck you, Aquaman. I'm just going down the list. Y'all, he needed your help, and yet y'all just think, oh, he's the funny, you know, team clown and things like that. Hell, Iceman is the clown of the X-Men. Nightcrawler can be a clown too of the X-Men, but if they're in trouble, you better believe they're going to be helping their teammate. You really feel bad for Plastic Man, and you want to just pimp slap the Justice League, all of them, because they didn't step up. The only one you give credit to is Detective Chimp in this. And when he finds out what Plastic Man is up to, and even to the point where he finds out some consequences of what Plastic Man has done to make sure he still tries to live, it paints a different picture of like the morals of a hero, and the moral acts of a hero, and the moral acts of to be a hero. Are you doing this for you? Are you doing this for your family? Or are you just being selfish? That's one of the big things that I understood what Mr. Cantwell was trying to paint in this book. But I really enjoyed it. But it was sad. I'm not going to say I sat here. I'm not going to lie to you guys and say I cried. But I got pissed off. I got heated reading this book. Every time the Justice League, he would get blown off by the Justice League, I had to put the book down and just collect my thoughts and breathe. I was like, because I'm breathing heavy through my nose every time. I'm like, Justice League, you fucking bastards. Like, including Superman. I'm like, Superman, of all people. You, of all people. And it was really bad. I really didn't like that. Like I said, the art style is really cool. The art style is really cool. Like you get like art like this, That's good artwork. There's Plastic Man and the Metal Men, and then that's like the modern day art. And then you do, and then where you were doing the past artwork. This is the past artwork. So you see like the past artwork, it changes. But yeah, I felt bad for. And then in the past, you see when Plastic Man is joining the team after he got, Metamorpho being a dick, and I'm like, fuck you too, Rex. I'm like, yeah, fuck you too. Like, what's wrong with you? So yeah. But this was still good. I enjoyed it. If I was giving it a rating, 8.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I've read Christopher Cantwell's work before, but this is a really good Black Label miniseries, but it also makes you feel, you really get invested into Plastic Man, but you also really feel bad for what's going on with him. So, but outside of that, this was good. This is good. Do I recommend it? Yes, I do. I do recommend. If you are a Plastic Man fan, check it out for yourselves. If you're not a Plastic Man, but you always wanted to read something that is maybe not canon in the current DC universe, but you want to read something with Plastic Man that gives you maybe a little crash course into who this character is, yeah, pick this up, because you do get a little bit of a crash course. You get some of his origin. But outside of that, yeah, this was fun. Plastic Man No More, but Black Label, DC Black Label. Check it out. Well, guys, that is all for today. That was another of my many trade paperbacks that I'm going through right now. Next up, I'm probably going to go back to another independent book. I got some Red Sonjas that I'm catching up on. But other than that, you guys take care. I will see you guys next time.